When I first met Claire, she was everything I had ever wanted. Kind, funny, beautiful, and effortlessly charming. We built a life together over 7 years of marriage. Sure, like any relationship, we had our ups and downs, but I truly believed our bond was unbreakable. Until the night everything started to change. It wasn't anything dramatic at first. Claire began working late more often. She laughed at her phone a little too long. She started guarding her messages, tilting the screen away when I was near. When I asked who she was talking to, she would smile and say, casually, "Just a friend from work." "It's nothing, really. You're being paranoid." At first, I believed her. Why wouldn't I? Claire had never given me a reason to doubt her before, but once doubt creeps into your mind, it starts to grow like a weed. Impossible to ignore. It got worse. She started making excuses to go out without me. Girls' nights, work events, volunteer projects I'd never heard about before. Each time I offered to come with her, she laughed it off. "It's just a quick thing," she'd say. "You'd be bored anyway." Still, I pushed the nagging thoughts aside. I trusted her, or at least I tried to. Until one night, when she came home late, way past midnight, her hair tousled, her perfume a little too strong, her smile a little too fake. When I asked her directly where she had been, she rolled her eyes like I was the problem. "You're overthinking everything," she said. "It's innocent." That word, innocent, stuck in my brain like a thorn. If it was so innocent, why did it feel like my whole life was slipping away from me? The next morning, I did something I never thought I'd do. I made a decision that changed everything. I hired a private detective. His name was Frank, a former cop who now specialized in private investigations. When I met him in a rundown diner across town, he was blunt. "You sure you want to know the truth?" he asked, his eyes steady. I hesitated for a second, then nodded. "Yes, I need to know." He didn't promise me anything, just took the case and disappeared into the background, blending into the shadows where people like Claire never thought to look. The next few days were agony. Every phone buzz made my heart race. Every time Claire smiled at me, I wondered if she was lying. The waiting, the uncertainty, it all chipped away at whatever was left of my sanity. And then Frank called. His voice was grim. "We need to meet." Those 4 words slammed into my chest like a hammer. I met him that night at the same diner. He slid a manila envelope across the table, the edges worn and greasy from his fingers. "What's inside here," he said, "is not what you want to see, but it's what you need to see." I stared at the envelope for a long time, my hands trembling. Inside were photographs. Claire wasn't just having innocent conversations. She wasn't just catching up with an old friend. She was wrapped around another man at a bar, kissing him like they'd known each other for a lifetime. The timestamps showed that this had been going on for weeks. Long, late nights she had claimed were harmless. In that instant, my world collapsed. I wasn't just being paranoid. I wasn't overreacting. I had been living a lie. But Frank wasn't done. He leaned closer, his voice low. "There's more," he said. "A lot more." And the truth he was about to reveal would be so much worse than I could have ever imagined. I sat frozen, the photographs scattered across the diner table like shattered glass reflecting my broken trust. Claire, the woman I built my world around, was living another life behind my back. But Frank wasn't finished. "There's something else," he said, his voice steady but grim. "This guy she's with, he's not just some random fling." I forced myself to look up. "Who is he?" Frank slid another paper across the table, a background check. When I saw the name, I felt like the floor dropped out from under me. Nathan Carter, not a stranger, not a coworker. Nathan was my so-called best friend, someone I had trusted for years. He had been a groomsman at our wedding. He had been at every birthday party, every barbecue. He had sat at my dinner table countless times, smiling across at Claire while stabbing me in the back. Rage flooded my veins, hot and uncontrollable. It wasn't just betrayal by my wife. It was betrayal by someone I called family. Frank continued, laying out the timeline. The affair had started almost a year ago. Small, innocent-seeming moments that grew into late-night meetings, secret getaways under the guise of work trips. Nathan had played his role perfectly, pretending to be the supportive friend while he slowly destroyed my marriage behind my back. "And it gets worse," Frank said, tapping the manila folder. I dug a little deeper into Nathan's financials. The guy's broke. Maxed out credit cards, business deals gone bad, gambling debts. I frowned. "What does that have to do with Claire?" Frank leaned in, his eyes narrowing. "Claire's been giving him money." The words punched me in the gut. "What?" "Not just little loans either," Frank said. "Tens of thousands. She's emptied your joint savings account into a private one under her name. She's been funding him." I couldn't breathe. It wasn't just emotional betrayal. It wasn't just physical betrayal. It was financial betrayal. Claire had siphoned off the life we built together to bankroll Nathan's mess. And I had been blind to all of it. I gripped the edge of the table, trying to steady myself. The betrayal cut deeper than anything I could have ever imagined. My marriage, my friendships, my financial security, all gutted behind closed doors while I played the fool. But even through the fury boiling inside me, a chilling thought surfaced. If Claire was willing to go this far for Nathan, how far would she go to cover it up? Frank seemed to read my mind. "You need to be careful," he warned. "If she suspects you know, she might try to destroy what's left. Sell property, clear out accounts, even lie to the police if she feels threatened." The room seemed to spin around me. I had a decision to make. Confront Claire immediately, or gather every shred of evidence needed to protect myself first. "I need time," I muttered. "I need a plan." Frank nodded approvingly. "Good. Smart. We'll stay ahead of them." As I left the diner that night, the cold air hit me like a slap. I had walked in hoping for answers. I walked out carrying the wreckage of my entire life. But one thing was clear now. Claire's betrayal ran deeper than I had feared. And Nathan, the man I once called my brother, wasn't just after my wife. He was after everything I had. The game had changed. This wasn't about saving my marriage anymore. This was about saving myself. I barely slept that night. Lying in bed beside Claire, hearing her breathing steady and calm while I stared at the ceiling, my mind raced with every betrayal. The woman I loved, the man I trusted, gone, replaced by liars who thought I was too blind to notice. But not anymore. By morning, my anger had crystallized into something sharper. Focus. If Claire and Nathan thought they could ruin me and walk away clean, they were about to learn otherwise. I met Frank again, this time at a quiet park far from the city. I laid it all out, the affair, the stolen money, the fake friendship. He nodded slowly, then leaned in. "If you want to expose them properly," he said, "you'll need undeniable proof, text messages, recorded conversations, bank transactions, the works, and you have to stay quiet. Act normal." That was the hardest part. For 2 weeks, I lived a double life. At home, I smiled when Claire came through the door. I kissed her goodnight. I asked about her work trips, pretending to believe every lie. Inside, I was burning. Meanwhile, Frank worked behind the scenes, hacking into old emails, recovering deleted messages, and tailing Nathan. And what he found turned my stomach. One night, Frank showed me a file packed with screenshots, texts between Claire and Nathan, graphic and cruel. They joked about me. They planned my future without me. Nathan even floated the idea of moving into my house once I was out of the picture. I clenched my fists so hard my nails cut into my palms. But I didn't react. Not yet. Because Frank had a better idea. "We need one last thing," he said. "A recorded conversation. Her admitting it all. Catch her in the act. End this your way." It was risky, but it was the final nail in the coffin. I chose the night carefully. Claire was relaxed after a supposed work dinner, glass of wine in hand, lounging on the sofa. I sat next to her, casual, calm, my phone recording quietly from my pocket. We made small talk, laughed, played the part of the happy couple, and then I said it. "I know you've been stressed, babe. Maybe it would help if we started fresh somewhere else." Maybe take that money from the savings account and just start over. What do you think? She hesitated just long enough, then smiled, almost sadly. Yeah, maybe. I mean, the money's already kind of not there. Bingo. I leaned closer, keeping my voice gentle. You mean the money you gave Nathan? Her face froze.
For a second, she searched my eyes, trying to figure out if I was bluffing, but she cracked under the pressure. It was for us, she said quickly. He just needed help getting on his feet first. I was going to tell you, I needed you to trust me. Every word recorded, every lie sealed. I stood up, heart hammering but face blank. I do trust you, I said, which is why I already know. Claire's mouth opened, but no sound came out. And before she could spin another story, I walked out of the house, out of the marriage, out of the mess she had created. With Frank's evidence and the recordings, I filed for divorce immediately. My lawyer didn't even flinch. She won't have a leg to stand on, he said. She committed financial fraud and infidelity. You'll come out clean. Nathan? Once Claire realized she was exposed, she turned on him instantly. All those promises of love and freedom dissolved the moment reality hit. Nathan ended up losing everything: his reputation, his business, and any chance he had with Claire. I didn't have to lift a finger. They destroyed each other. All I had to do was walk away with the truth and my dignity intact. The day I walked out of our home for the last time, a strange feeling washed over me. Not sadness, not anger anymore, but relief. The weight of suspicion, betrayal, and constant second-guessing lifted off my shoulders. Finally, I was free. Claire tried to reach out after I left. Dozens of texts, calls in the middle of the night, voicemails full of apologies, empty promises, desperate pleas. But I didn't answer. The time for talking was over. The divorce moved faster than anyone expected. Armed with Frank's evidence, recordings, texts, bank statements, my lawyer built an airtight case. Claire had no chance. She couldn't lie her way out of the affair. She couldn't deny the stolen money. The judge ruled in my favor on every point. I kept the house. I kept my retirement savings. I was awarded a clean split, with Claire receiving nothing beyond her personal belongings. Nathan tried to help her at first, but his own life had already started crumbling. His debts caught up to him. His business partners dropped him like dead weight. Within months, he declared bankruptcy. And Claire? Well, the life she had betrayed everything for vanished overnight. Nathan turned on her. Friends turned on her. She was left alone, with no money, no relationship, and a ruined reputation. Funny how karma works. At first, it was hard adjusting to life on my own. The silence in the house was deafening. The absence of someone I thought was my future left an empty space. But over time, I filled it with peace, with self-respect, and with the knowledge that I had survived something that could have destroyed me. I started focusing on my career, my hobbies, my health. I reconnected with old friends, people who genuinely cared about me. And slowly, I remembered who I was before betrayal clouded everything. I wasn't the broken man Claire and Nathan had left behind. I was stronger. I was wiser. I was free. About a year later, I ran into Claire at a coffee shop. She looked different, worn down, tired. A shell of the vibrant woman I once knew. We made eye contact. For a moment, she looked like she might say something. Maybe an apology, maybe another excuse. But she didn't, and neither did I. We just stood there, two strangers tied together by a past neither of us could erase. Then I turned and walked away, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with peace. Some battles aren't worth fighting twice. Some people don't deserve a second chance. And some betrayals, no matter how much time passes, can never truly be undone. Life isn't about holding on to those who hurt you. It's about recognizing your worth, standing up for yourself, and walking away from people who don't value your loyalty. And sometimes, the ultimate revenge is simply living better without them. Have you ever trusted someone only to find out they were hiding a betrayal you never saw coming? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how you handled it and what you learned from it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more true stories about betrayal, survival, and powerful comebacks. Your next favorite story might be closer than you think,